Hello, everyone, and welcome to Moementum channel. Today, we're going to be talking about our dividend income that we've earned in the month of August. I will also be going to share with you our entire portfolio that we have currently at the end of the month and what stocks or ETFs we plan to buy in the months ahead. As you notice here, we have a breakdown of our dividend income that we've earned in the year 2022. And in the months of August, we earned a total of $60.01 in dividend income. Majority of these dividend income came from our investments through Wealthsimple Trade brokerage accounts. We did have about $3 as well earned through Questrade and about $1.50 earned through Wealthsimple Invest Robo Advisor. That's the passive investment accounts that we have through Wealthsimple. Now, moving on, and if you look at our breakdown of accounts that we have with Questrade, here we have about $102,800 worth of investments that are within 4 different accounts, 2 non-registered margin accounts and 1 tax-free savings account, as well as 1 registered retirement savings plan. The TFSA and RSP are considered registered accounts that have some tax advantages, whereas for margin accounts, these are subject to taxations. All in all, for these accounts, we are sitting at a negative about 10% or about 10.5 or 11%, or down about unrealized loss of $12,000. Our top 10 holdings in these accounts across the accounts are Vanguard Investment All Equity account, VEQT. It's an all-in-one ETF, exchange traded funds. We currently have 2,303 shares with an average purchase price of $36.27. Given the last trading price of $31.75 for VEQT, this account is down by about 12.5% at this time. This is the biggest holding within our Questrade, which is part of our Smith Maneuver portfolio account as well. We do have 57 shares of Boeing that we've bought years ago. This was pre-pandemic, and we've still hold on to those shares with an average purchase price of $254.25. Given the last trading price of $151.82 for Boeing, these shares are down by about 40%. For these shares of Boeing, we plan to hold on to them until they recover, and hopefully at one point we get to sell them at profits, because we've been holding on to them given the value of our investments over time, and the loss that we've had. We don't want to sell them at this loss at this stage. Next, we have some shares of TQQQ. It's a ProShares Trust Ultra Pro QQQ. It's a leveraged ETF fund that gives you triple the exposure to QQQ. It is definitely a lot more riskier, because it gives you the 3 times exposure to the performance of NASDAQ 100. So on the days that NASDAQ does well, it can really boost your returns exponentially, but also on the days that it does poorly, it can really drag down your performance. Given that, we are showing to be down by close to 21%, despite the fact that a few days ago we were actually at a positive. This past week has not been the most merciful of weeks for NASDAQ, and that definitely is reflected here. Our average price for TQQQ is at $33.59, given the last trading price of $26.68 for TQQQ. We are down by that 21% that pointed out. Next, we have Poshmark. We have 100 shares exact of Poshmark, the ticker symbol POSH, which is down by 58%, given that our average price of $26.19 is now trading at the price of only $10.96. Next, we have still maintain our 10 shares of Google. Google had some negative days in the past week, and that's why it's dragged down the performance. We are currently down by about 5%. Our average price for shares of Google are at $114.35, and the last trading price for Google Alphabet is at $108.68. EVgo is another holdings. We have 110 shares for an average price of $16.41. It's almost down by about half. Here we are down by about 46%. Tattooed Chaff, ticker symbol TTCF, is another holding. We have 150 shares here with an average price of $18.92, which is down by 68% almost. Next, we have shares of 𝗖𝐋𝐈𝐊, which is an ETF, iShares Core MSCI Canadian Quality Units. It's a dividend paying monthly distributions with the average price of $24.33, which is down by about 2%, as pointed out. And next, we have Hyliion. We have 185 shares, which is down by 81%. And lastly, we have shares of Blink Charging, which is down by 52% for our 29 shares. All in all, as you notice, all our top 10 holdings for the Questrade account based on the market value are in the negative territory. Definitely not the most exciting returns, but something that we are going to be patient with it, waiting for these funds to recover. For some of the funds, though, like the ones that are doing very poorly and we are down heavily, we might want to take advantage of some tax loss harvesting and maybe potentially consider having them sold, or perhaps consider options to maybe dollar cost average, or maybe even in this case for those ones that we don't have much positive prospects for them in the years to come, maybe just cut our losses and get out of this our positions. Some examples there could be things like here we're talking about Blink or potentially Hyliion. Those are some options for that matter. Next, we're going to take a look at our holdings with Wealthsimple Trade account. Here's we have one non-registered personal account with 8 positions, one registered retirement savings plan with 10 positions, and 20 positions for our tax-free savings account. We do have a crypto account here, but that's not the focus of this video. Let's take a look at our holdings here. For our personal account, is a non-registered account. We do have shares of Bank of Nova Scotia, 𝗖𝐋𝐈𝐖𝐊 Biotech, Real Matters, Royal Bank of Canada, Toronto Dominion Bank, Verizon, iShares Core MSCI Canadian Quality 𝗖𝐋𝐈𝐿, and 𝗋𝑒QT, which is iShares Core Equity ETF portfolio. For the most part, these shares are in the negative territory, with the exceptions being Royal Bank of Canada, which is still showing a 10.5% return, despite the fact that last week this stock was overall ended the week on a negative. And if you look at the past 1 month, it's actually still down by about 2.69% or 2.7%. The other holding that is been positive is Bank of Nova Scotia with 4% positive return, and Toronto Dominion Bank. All the 3 Canadian banks that we have in this account are positive. With TD, we are showing a positive return of 7.15%. If we look back at our registered retirement savings plan, the other account, here we have 10 different holdings. This includes Artis Real Estate Investment Trust. It's a REIT which pays us a distribution every month. Dividend Growth Split Corp, DGS. We have 23 shares here. We have some shares of Greenlane Renewables, PIMCO Dynamic Income Fund, Royal Bank of Canada, Skyworks Solutions, Toronto Dominion Bank, VDY. We have shares of Vanguard S&P 500 Index ETF, VFE, and some more shares of 𝗋𝐋𝐈𝐿. These are our shares with our RSP account. And lastly, if you look at our shares with tax-free savings account, here we have 20 different positions, includes some new additions to the portfolio, including Bell, BCE. We have Bank of Montreal, Bank of Nova Scotia, Beyond Meat, Cars or Evolve Automobile Innovation Index Fund, EAGB, 𝗖𝐋𝐈𝐖𝐊 Biotech ETF, Greenlane, Hyliion. We have shares of Manulife, NEO, PIMCO Dynamic Income Fund, Plug Power, Power Corporation of Canada, which is again is a new addition. We bought 1 shares of it last week. QQC.F, which is Invesco Nasdaq 100 Index ETF. We have some additional shares of Real Matters, Royal Bank of Canada, Shopify, Toronto Dominion Bank, VDY, and BFE. We do intend to trim some of our positions in our tax-free savings account. Of course, we don't intend to sell them at a loss. We plan to sell some of our holdings that are showing positive returns and trim it so that we have some more funds to invest, but less variety of positions. I find it sometimes more challenging to really be able to keep track of all the different holdings. Instead, I do plan to kind of use some of that funds and get into more of a passive investment at this approach. The 2 or 3 different holdings that I'm leaning towards, one is VFE or Vanguard S&P 500 Index ETF. It's in Canadian dollars and gives you exposure to the US S&P 500 Index, that's one that I would like to add more to my shares and build a much larger position. The other one is VDY. It's a monthly dividend paying Canadian ETF based on Canadian high quality dividend paying stocks, which is favorable from a taxation perspective. Despite the fact that it's in our tax free savings account, it is one that I would like to add across my different accounts, including some non registered accounts. And the last one to consider would be for me VEQT, which is Vanguard All Equity ETF. It is a little bit more, gives you that exposure to the higher risk, less distribution, but more higher risk because it's focused 100% exposure to the stocks and not any exposure to fixed income or other, source of investments for that matter. There you go, folks. A quick look into our portfolio that we have with Wealthsimple Trade and Questrade with a total of around $124,000 investments. I would love to hear from you. Let me know in the comment section down below which of these stocks or ETFs that we share with you do you have in your own portfolio, and what stocks or ETFs are you currently adding to your positions right now. I would love to hear from you. Be sure to share that with us. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. That really goes a long way and helps us grow this channel. I really appreciate that. Thank you, and I hope to see you all next time.